Now Adnan makes a cut, gets looked off, gets looked off, gets looked off, looked off.
Welcome to the episode of
10, episode 10.
Episode 10.
I looked it up.
I was waiting for someone to fill that in.
I looked it
This
up.
document.
As always, I am Brad Kotecki here with Joe Mama
How's it going?
and Libby Lehman.
Glad to be back.
This week we have a special guest, Abby Cheng.
Hello.
And a second special guest, Libby's new kitten, Miso.
Yes.
Never before been on the podcast.
Really? I thought she was the last one. But...
No, we didn't do this for a very long time.
That's right.
We burnt out real hard. Abby is with us to talk about several things. College regionals coming up, U24, opera, winning groundhogs probably. So Abby, let's just start right off. How did you get into Ultimate?
I played a little bit in high school. At the end of my senior year, my friends started a team, and we played in the underground league of New York.
In the subways.
The Rat Pack.
And then just pick up, and then I started playing in college.
Nice. So, you went to Oberlin, who has you chose Oberlin, who has a pretty well-established Ultimate program. Was that part of your, did that influence your decision to go there at all?
No, not at all. I didn't know really how much I wanted to play Ultimate. I didn't really play sports in high school because I went to performing arts high school, and so it was really mostly focused on music. And I did know that there was a team, and I was the nerd that emailed them and was like, "Hi, when our tryouts, I need to be on your team. Cool, I love Ultimate." But
the email that every college captain loves to get in the fall.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the email that every college captain sends before they attend the school, the future captain. Because
That too.
That too.
but yeah. No, it didn't. Yeah.
4 years ago, there were a lot of stalking. There was a lot of stalking of your Facebook profile as soon as you sent that email.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we got to figure out who this is.
Yeah.
So did you know anyone on the team in Oberlin? Or?
No, I only knew. No, I went to Oberlin. I mean, I picked Oberlin because of their double degree program with the college and the conservatory, and because they had such a good music program. And I only knew people in the conservatory.
Gotcha.
So having never, like you said, never really played sports, how was it learning Ultimate? Because I don't know, I mean, that's surprising to me, given that you've always been super fast in a really tough athletic matchup for anybody. So I'm just curious, did that just come naturally to you?
Well, I played tennis for a really long time.
Okay.
I stopped after my freshman year in high school. So 10 or 12 years, and then outside of that I didn't really play any sports, and I didn't play any high school, but I did stop for a long time, and I think it was mostly just I kept working out but not really doing any sort of running. I don't know what the answer is. I definitely have always loved sports and done them. Besides high school, I did them in
Gotcha.
school, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But it just wasn't really possible. Yeah.
So this weekend is regionals, right?
Yes.
They're both nodding.
Right. That doesn't translate. Forgot. It's been a while.
What are you looking forward to at regionals? What's the seating? What's the situation? Is it going to be rained out? That's the first question.
I checked yesterday.
Maybe not, but maybe 25 mile per hour winds.
Right, yeah.
So here's the thing is it's not regionals if the last 3 games aren't the most wind you've ever played in. I've never had regionals, know how that isn't that. So I'm definitely expecting that regardless of whatever the weather says. And I think I'm excited for us, we've had like a little bit of, I guess, a lag for the past like 6 weeks, and I'm excited for us to have like more competitive games. And I think that will be like really, really fun. And I want it to be like really hard to get the bids so that if it does happen, it's like such a big success. The seating right now, like the preliminary seating is us, and then I think it's Swarthmore, Haverford, Lehigh, Cedarville. So I think definitely with the second, third, and fourth seed, those are going to be like really good games and really fun. And I'm assuming we're probably going to do a round robin, since there are only 5 teams. But I don't know for sure. And also, like, there might be more teams coming. That's just like the preliminary. It's like kind of a mess.
Classic.
But
It always is.
yeah. But also, I think my team has just like really built up to this moment in like a very healthy way, and is like ready and not scared, and that's like a great place to be in, you know?
Yeah. Libby, coach's perspective?
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's definitely a little bit, I think, hard for me just having not really been, prior to this year, super involved or tuned in to the D3 scene as much. And so I think that, and then kind of paired with, we had our fall tournaments where everyone was combined, and it was really just getting people playing. And then, we had a really, really good experience down at Commonwealth early in the season, despite the weather.
Did you now?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that, like, it was at least, a testament to the skill of the team. And we were able to sort of push the team's limits a little bit and see how much skill there is. Unfortunately, just again, because of weather and things, we haven't really been able to test ourselves against, I think, the other good D3 teams. So I'm definitely a little bit nervous just from my own kind of lack of exposure. But I mean, like Abby said, I think the team is definitely ready, and I think I've got high hopes for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious because I guess, I've coached for Case. This is my 3rd year now.
Brag.
I don't see how that's a brag, but okay. But I feel like over the last 3 years, your program has grown just in terms of competitiveness, because that's really the only thing that I sort of see from like 2 years ago. And even like 2 years ago when we played you all, we would, win by a lot. Yeah. And last year, I think we played once at like an actual tournament, and we won on like Universe, I think.
Yes.
And maybe we played like another scrimmage that we won, but they were like close games. And then this year we just played a scrimmage and you all beat us. And obviously, like, both teams are always like, it's not just like a static measuring thing, but I'm curious, having you being someone that's sort of like grown up with the team, I guess, like what your perspective on that has been, and how it's been like maybe balancing if there are like different goals for the team this year or last year compared to previous years, and sort of what that has been like.
Yeah, I think there are multiple causes. I would say the first and biggest one is just people on my team playing club. And like, I think that is so huge, mostly for not just like confidence and skill level, but also like the knowledge. And because our team is so based in like peer teaching, that the more sort of depth of knowledge that we have in individual players, like the deeper our entire team gets. And so I think after that, the summer after the year you were talking about 2 years ago, was like the first time that anyone on our team had ever like played club and come back. And both me and my co-captain had our first summers on Notorious and Bent, and we just like had such a better like field sense, and then we're able to like pass that on. And then like following that, just more and more people were getting exposure like during the summers. And I think just in general, having also like just playing with other like high level players, and also like getting the experience of having a different role on a different team is so huge and really eye-opening. So that's one big thing. I think we also just like definitely have different goals, that's for sure. I mean, I think our A team has always like at least sort of had the goal of like going to nationals for a long time. But I think like the more specifically how we play competitive games and how we work together to win those hard games has really changed and like become more intentional, I guess is the best word. And I think that, I think we've done a better job of like passing down knowledge in terms of like leadership, and just like thinking about our program as like a larger structure that has like a longer timeline as opposed to like year by year.
That's one thing I think kind of coming in this year as a coach that I've been super impressed with is just like how wide the perspective I think from the captain leadership on the team is of the team, whether that's, across the whole like width and breadth of all of the players versus, looking at the program as this like dynamic structure that, has come from somewhere and has a place to go. I feel like, you and the other leadership have definitely you have a grasp of that and like want to make sure that that's I think kind of embedded in the goals of the team and then therefore passed down to players. So I know I definitely didn't think about that whenever I was captaining at Case in college. So I think that's pretty I think that also definitely shows in the success of the team. For sure.
Very good. We're excitedly looking forward to the weekend. We'll be following closely from afar.
I'll be close.
I'll be on Twitter. But in your answer there, you started talking about Bent. This is going to be your third season, correct? And you will be captaining?
Yes.
So what are you most looking forward to in those regards? Are you moving back to New York for good? During the summer?
I have one more
year, as I just found out.
Okay.
Very
5 years of eligibility.
Yep.
Yes.
Use them all.
Winter League 2020.
Winter League 2020.
It's the only thing our listeners care about. So we gotta bring it back.
Yeah, power team. Could we get a quick power team? And then we'll talk about that.
Oh my god.
So Ben.
I'm excited to be in the like decision-making process around making goals for the team and like getting everyone on the same like mental and social page. I think that's kind of what I said my role was going to be going into like elections. And I think there's like so much crazy things to be learned, many crazy things to be learned from club, and even just like starting in the tryout process. I feel like it's just a whole new world because I've never ever experienced anything like it, and like I just don't even know what to look for in people in some ways. It's just the way that I perceive players is like on my team, I take them in as a whole, and then I think about, like, in 4 years, where do I want them to end up, and how can I help them get there? And, like, that's so different than, like, are you going to be on my team or not because of where you are right now, So I'm excited to, like, learn all different things, but also maybe bring, like, lots of the cool things that I've learned from the Manti to Bent, because I think that at least like the current, I think Bent has a core that's been basically the same for at least the past 5 years, if not the past 10 years.
Wow.
And so they are, I would say, like ready for like, I think, a different perspective, and having just someone who's at least like currently leading like a completely different system, I think will be really cool, because I've just like, at least especially this year, spent a lot of time like trying different things on the Manti, and I like know what has worked and what hasn't, and I'm like really excited to bring that to Bent.
Do you want to pause real quick and open the door?
Yeah.
And when I say pause, I mean everyone's going to hear us.
Yeah.
Mari.
Come on, Mar. Hi.
Mari, say hi to the listeners. Oh, they're the two cats are interacting.
Yeah.
They're walking next to each other.
Oh, there. Oh. Miso really loves Mari. Mari doesn't really care.
It's kind of like me in Ultimate.
Who loves who in that?
I'm not sure. It's an abusive relationship. Yeah, okay, we got real. So exciting stuff for club for the summer. Also coming up this summer, or later in the summer, you made the U24 team. Mm-hmm. That's very, very cool. Now might be the time to mention that this is going to come out the same day or within a day or two of an article on Abby and one other, her name...
Renata Pepe.
And who helped write that article, Brad?
I don't know. It's going to be up on Ultiworld.
Anonymous.
It's going to be up on
Anonymous
Ultiworld.
source.
Very good writer. Very good up.
Up-and-coming writer.
It was Brad. It's Brad.
Yeah, if you haven't read it yet, you will. You'll see it. New York Times or somewhere. Anyway, so U24, you want to walk us through what trying out for that was like? Because I know you had a little bit of an interesting tryout having to go out west.
Yeah, so I applied online and then got a tryout, and there are two tryouts. There's the East Coast one is one weekend and the West Coast one is another weekend, but I was in an opera during the East Coast one, and so I asked to go to the West Coast one, which was supposed to be right outside San Francisco, but then there were all the
I forgot
fires.
about that. Yeah.
So the air quality was actually too bad for us to play in, and so we had to drive 4 hours south. And the air quality was still bad there, but not horrible. And so, yeah, so I got there and drove south, and then they like condensed the tryout because people had to like fly back on Sunday evening, and they had to like drive back to San Francisco. So we played for basically 8 straight hours on Saturday with like 1 30-minute break and a couple like 5-minute breaks. And then for 4 hours on Sunday. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I think in the last, they like split up into 4 sections, and definitely in the last one on Saturday, like there were like the people who were like starting to just like slow down and get tired, and I was in the like, my adrenaline is making me so crazy, I have no idea what I'm saying right now, and like loopy, just like completely insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there too, but I think I've just been drunk.
Culture days. That's how
Yeah. It was not at a world tryout.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want me to explain like how the tryout goes?
What was your favorite part about the tryout?
Yeah, that's a good one.
What do you mean? What was my favorite part?
Yeah, whether it was like, I don't know, people you played with, or specific things that you did during the tryout, or feedback that you received, or I don't know.
Okay.
The poor air quality.
I think definitely I felt really good about the like 1v1 defensive things. We did one drill that was, it was a 3v3 mini, and like there are like 2 lines. There's like one for each team, and everyone's watching you. And there's something like if you like get the point, you get to stay, and if you get the D, you get to stay, or whatever. So there's a lot of like reward in it, and it was just like I think like the mini showed a lot of my skills, so that was like really, really fun. And it was also like just a lot of cheering and excitement. And I definitely liked, for the most part, I liked the setup and the way that we like got to stick with smaller groups of people and like get really good with them. So even like players, like a lot of the players that are on the team are like people that I actually built a lot of chemistry with over the weekend. And I feel like I like know them well as players already, which is like really cool and helpful since we don't have that many practices. But also, yeah, I mean, I think another really awesome moment was just I literally knew no one there except for one person, which is so hard because they were all from Seattle, so that everyone was like best friends. And also they had like all been coached by all of the coaches who were there, so it was like really, really hard. But I knew one person because she was the sister of someone who used to be on the Manti. Nice. So yeah, it was a little bit far, but she's also my year, so we've been like, and she's also from D3, so we've been like going through like D3 together, and she played U20. Her name's Josie Gillette, and she was like the person I leaned on whenever I was like having trouble, like feeling like out of my mental space. And because she's just like had so much experience, it was really good to have her. Like, she always knew what to say to me, and was really good at pumping me up. And there was this one moment where I was like, I feel like they're not seeing me, like I'm not doing what I need to do. And she was like, well, what do you need to like show off? And I was like, I really need to like make a deep cut and catch it right now, because there were so many deep cutters and they were all just like laying out everywhere and like scoring. And I was like, I look like I'm just like one of many, and I need to, and she's like a huge thrower, so she was like, okay, we have to like make sure that we get on the next point together. So we made sure to get on the next point together, and then she like threw me a huge hucking, and I caught it, and it was like a really like dope play. And
Nice.
That was like friends helping each other.
Is she on the team? Is she playing?
Sadly, no. Don't know why. She did incredibly well at the tryout.
Yeah.
Well, throwers are overrated.
Yeah, that's true. We're always overlooked.
Yeah.
So what is the practice schedule like for that? You mentioned that, and I hadn't even thought about that. I'm assuming you're going to practice at some point, at least once or twice. Do you have to travel for that?
So we have a training camp in Colorado in June.
Poultry Days weekend.
I know.
Yeah.
It's almost like I didn't want us to go to Poultry Days.
I'm surprised they have enough players left.
Is Poultry Days not World?
So we're going to Colorado, and I think we're playing Molly Brown, but that's just a rumor that I'm making up, but I'm really hoping.
All right, this is where we
This is where the rumor becomes true.
Versus U24.
Yeah.
Be there.
You heard it here first.
Well, don't be there. Be at Poultry Days.
It'll be live streamed.
Yeah,
on
look at the
Poultry
tweets
Days.
later.
But yeah, we have, and I've heard that it's like similarly like a really intense weekend.
Yeah.
And everyone is very exhausted after. And then we don't practice together again until July, when we're in Germany, and then we get like a week, and it's something like we practice like once every 2 days or something. It's like really, really few practices, and then the tournament, which is kind of crazy. Although I feel like I should probably just like go to all the cities where they all live and go practice with them, don't you think? Okay, no. That was a serious thing.
Maybe after college season.
I just feel like I don't know. If I had like that, just when I'm thinking about like there's like a month in between, and everyone will probably be in one, like they'll be in their city, and I can probably like go to Boston and play with like 4 of them, and we could just like have a mini practice and like cut for each other, right? Doesn't that? You're all looking at me.
I mean,
like, that's what I would
That
do.
would be awesome. Yeah, that's just
Yeah,
a
that
lot
sounds
of travel and
That sounds
Okay,
great.
but I could go to like 2 places and play with like
Yeah.
6 players. That's like a third of my team.
yeah, that
That'd
would
be-
be super cool. Especially if it's close to New York, I guess
Right.
you can get to places.
or just hear me out. Poultry days.
I do think for the first time in a long time, Oberlin is trying to get an alumni team together for.
Oh yeah,
Poultry
baby,
Days.
they're gonna win.
Is it?
They're reining
Have they
in.
submitted a bid yet?
Yeah, they're in.
Okay.
They're reining in like a lot of big players. Just saying.
Okay. But no
saying.
Abby Cheng, so.
No, Abby Cheng, exactly.
All right. Are they going to play in the power pools? Can we see them on Saturday?
I have literally no idea how poultry days work, so I'm gonna say yes.
No,
Next
actually,
year.
no.
Next
It
year.
just wills its way into existence. It just works magically.
Do you like have any idea? I don't know if they've communicated like what your role on the team might be or anything like that, or is that just like we'll see at practice kind of thing that's going to happen?
I like trying out. Well, no, I'm not gonna say that, but no.
Or maybe
I think
maybe
they're
they're trade secrets. So I don't like.
No, I don't know anything.
Don't tell the Germans what we're doing.
I mean, I know that like when I went to the.
We do have quite the international.
Well, when I went to the last U24 tryout that was in Columbus, and like Sophie and Danny and a couple other people were trying out, and I was there like filming and was gonna write like a recap for Ultiworld, and they came up to me and were like, "Oh, why are you filming? Like, what are you gonna do with that footage?" And I was like, "Just gonna make a highlight video for Ultiworld," but. You know, they were like, well, just as long as, you know, the raw footage doesn't like get out, you know, because they didn't want their whatever offensive structure and drills that they're doing to be out there, I guess.
Can I just say one thing that I'm extremely mad about?
Yes.
Please do.
The second time in a row, they did not make a West Coast highlight video, and I feel so cheated. Like, we have to do the tryout again so I can get a highlight video. Particularly because I think Zoe has like a huge pull and a huge layout D in the East Coast highlight video, and I just feel
Well, that's
so
really because
cheated.
she's better than you.
I mean, yes, right? The video says so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the location change made that tough as well, even if they did have somebody lined up to get out there.
Anyway, sorry, that's my complaint. No, I don't know anything about my role. They mostly have told us, like, up to now, we've done, like, some activities, like bonding activities, but mostly nothing strategy-wise because they want us to, like, really focus on our college seasons.
That's cool.
And I think, especially because they know that, like, a lot of like the learning, like we're gonna naturally get better just by like playing the spring, like from the last time they saw us. So I think it's like they just think it's better for us to focus on being on our college teams and like doing well, you know.
So I guess this leads into a question that so you have the college season, which overlaps with the club season, and then overlapping with both those, you have this U24. I guess, like, how are you feeling about all of that? And I guess how are you thinking about, like, your involvement with each team, like, over the course of, you know, from, like, through now through, you know, the summer? Because I just know that that's something that, like, even just like the college club balance in like the spring and the fall can sometimes be hard. And so I'm curious, like, with the U24 thing, I feel like the prioritization and everything can be hard.
Yeah, I definitely feel I'm glad that they're not really doing anything until after the college season, which, let me just tell you, is the college, which just means D1 because they just call it college because that's the only college that exists.
There's a lot of air quotes here.
But I mean, timing wise,
because,
they line up, right?
Well, D3 college is nationals is
Right,
before.
it's a week before.
I'm just saying. Okay, never mind. Anyway,
You can air out all your grievances. This is a safe place. You can air out any
I'm
grievances.
just saying that everyone was like, we can't have tryouts on whatever weekend because that's college nationals, but we can have tryouts on the other weekend.
I've noticed that a lot.
And I was like, haha, but I'll be at a different nationals probably, so it's fine. Anyways, I'm not calling anyone out, but
No, I think that, yeah, I like really haven't, other than like trying to stay in shape, I haven't really focused on U24, and I don't really plan to until after the college season is over. I think that, yeah, it's definitely, I'm still figuring out the balance between like Bent and Oberlin Manti right now.
I mean, it's like one thing like playing college and club, but you're captaining both teams. So just in case anyone listening at home forgot that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely crazy. I keep a lot of very strict to-do lists and try to do like as much for each team as I can every day. And I think mostly like it hasn't been too much for Ben so far, and I think like they're aware that I probably will have to like not do as much in the tryout part of the season, which I think is natural because I don't really feel that I'm the most equipped to like have a huge voice in that anyway. And because I like won't be there for a lot of the tryouts. So I guess I'm like trying to spend more time learning and like watching and observing for like Bent right now, and putting like a lot of like time into making the end of this college season like the best that it's ever been, because the end of the year is just like really important and really hard, given that we have basically like 2 seasons within our team, because we have an A and B team that end at different times, and so there's like just a lot happening, and we have to like plan for the next season, because different than like club, everyone like leaves and then you can't really like get them back to like try to elect people, so you kind of have to like do it before they get out. So it's like everything is really happening at once, so I think it's like been okay to prioritize that. In terms of like Bent and U24, I've definitely like last season I did like a summer singing program, and I was away for a month, and that was like really, 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 really hard on me because I just like wanted to be with my team so badly. And I think I won't be gone for as long, but I think that will still be really hard to be away from them. But in some ways it feels better that I will actually have like a more substantial role on the team and like a leadership role, because it feels like I can like still be more connected it's like different than being like just another teammate who's like texting all the time being like, go team, whatever, like I'm watching your live stream, whatever. And it's then to be like I'm behind the scenes and like doing the work also, right? And like
which you can do anywhere,
right? And I think I'll be like so much more connected in that way, which will make me like feel more present, and also like I can be more present in all the other parts of the season. And so yeah, it's definitely like a lot, and I recognize that might like take away from certain parts of each team, and I think I'm gonna do my best to like be 100,000,000% present for U24, because obviously that's just once in a lifetime, and I think that it's really great that like the time I'm spending away is doing that thing that like I just have to frame it in my mind as like I'm getting better for Bent, and like that's like, so being here is okay because I can get better for Bent.
Right. I think, the other thing too, like coming off of the trip abroad with U24, like you'll be coming back to Bent in like late season, whenever, on a lot of club teams, like people might start to be feeling like taxed, and you can kind of like bring that like some new energy and lots of excitement. And so I think I can see that there would be a lot of value in kind of that aspect too.
Yeah.
What would you say you're most excited about for Worlds, for going to Germany, playing that tournament?
You asked me this question already.
Read the article, Brad. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember my answer. Okay, I think I'm excited. One, I'm so excited about the coaching staff and to just get like all the feedback, and I'm going to ask them to tell me everything that's wrong with my playing so I can know that, because
Compensate for me. All right, I can take a hint.
But yeah, I think that will be like really, really cool to get like totally new perspectives. And I'm excited for like completely different competition and styles of ultimate coming from different countries. I think that will be really, really cool and hopefully like eye-opening. I hope they're really different. And yeah, obviously like playing. I think one thing, which is something that I definitely got from Bent especially, but will be maybe even more so, is the like sense of like everyone being as like 100% intense and driven and like wanting a specific goal like together is going to be so special, because yeah, it's just like so magical when everyone can just like want that one thing so badly together and all be doing like as much as they possibly can to get it.
Yeah, like there's no other distractions basically during the Worlds tournament. It's not like during the college or even club season. I feel like there's always a lot of stuff going on, but a tournament like that is just
That's what you're doing.
unique. Yeah.
And everyone is like there for the same reason too, you know? Like they're not there for like, oh, just like the social or just because like their exercise or like whatever. Like there's so many different reasons that people play ultimate even at the club level, and I think just having a team that all is there for the same reason is like going to be really cool.
No.
Definitely.
All right. So the one thing that we haven't really talked about is your singing at Oberlin, which is, I didn't even really know. Maybe I like knew that you were in like some sort of music program, but until we heard you sing the national anthem at the All-Star game, didn't really know. And that was like just an incredible performance, which, you know, at some point in the next 10 years, I'll edit the game together.
Yeah, you should just publish the national anthem.
At this point, just assume that the footage is gone forever.
I need those 2 points. There's 2 points in that game that I need for the rest of my life.
But yeah, I mean that performance was incredible, and you know you just had your senior recital, which
was also
some
incredible.
people went to, and I tuned in to the live stream. Yeah, which was also super cool. So you know, I guess you know I'm curious how it's been like balancing that in Ultimate, and also just like I don't know, like do people that are in your program like know that you're like also a badass frisbee player, and like do all of your frisbee friends, like I didn't know that you were a singer, like is there a ton of overlap, or do you keep things like pretty separate?
I think definitely my team knows.
There was a pretty good representation at the senior recital.
They support me a lot, which is great. And many people on my team have lots of talent, so we're all very supportive of each other.
I guess I only have the one talent of throwing discs really far. That's so.
No, Joe. I saw your piano trophies.
Those are previous. When I was a kid, I had a lot of talents. But now,
Nice.
They've faded.
now it's just
But yeah, I think some people in my, like a lot of maybe the singers who are in my year know about Ultimate.
And I think my voice teacher recently found out because she saw on Facebook about U24, and she was like, "Oh, that's really cool." So that was interesting.
It sounds like a classic response of like someone who doesn't is excited but doesn't quite understand the gravity of it.
No, it was great. And then she keeps calling it like the Olympics, which I feel like is cool.
That's good.
She's like, when you go to the Olympics in Germany, what was the first question? Oh, I think, the balance is very hard, but as you can tell, maybe I try to do many, many things all at the same time. So yeah, lots of shows and rehearsals at the same time as Ultimate, which can sometimes be really hard, but in the end, I think it's very worth it and is just a part of my personality that I've had to accept. But yeah, no, it feels very wholesome. What was the other part of the question?
So when you say shows, like, are you performing in opera, like full performances, and are those like all Oberlin like run, or are you like getting gigs elsewhere?
No, so most of the performances that I do are at Oberlin. We have like we have like 3 operas every year, and I've been in a lot of them, and I've also been in a musical at Oberlin, which is run through the theater department, and like a lot of other like smaller concerts and things.
Do you feel like whether it's just like the energy you put into it or how you train or, the whatever like mental, state you're in whenever you're pursuing opera and Frisbee, do you feel like similarly about both of them, or are they like very different kind of approaches that you take with each?
They're incredibly similar.
Yeah.
I think especially the first thing is like the way that you just practice and like work at something every day and get incrementally better. And like it's hard to like notice progress because it's getting better slowly each day. And I think like having to but there are other things like the way that performance is like the same as playing games. Like it's about like how you perform under pressure and wanting to like do your absolute best, but like the fear of not being able to do that and how that like affects your ability to perform. And I think I definitely try to use a lot of the same tools. I was definitely like for my senior recital, like, okay, this is an ultimate game. Everything's good. Like I just gotta warm up, like just stretch my quads. Like I was like, just treat it like an all-star game. It's fine. And I listened to the same pump up music.
That's
everything.
What pump up music do you listen to? Before opera and before Frisbee.
Well, I always have to have a dance party before. So what kind of music? I don't know.
We'll put a link to the Spotify playlist in the description. You can check it out.
Pump up. Well, no, I feel like I asked this question, and I think I already told you this after your performance, is that watching Abby perform, a lot of the facial expressions that I saw her make, it was like, oh my gosh, I've seen that face before. It's whenever she's open, like huge gainer, like under, and really wants to distance her, or like right before she's about to get a D. And it's like definitely the same, excitement and like, I don't know, passion, I think, which was for me really, really cool to see. Just kind of having that in a little bit of a different context.
Yeah, I think also just like the amount of focus that it takes. Somebody was telling me about like where we were talking about like the concentration, especially since the performance I just did was like 50 minutes of music.
Yeah, it was...
and it's the amount of like, it's like the same thing as like if you forget to concentrate for 1 second and then you drop the disc, and it's like not because you're bad at catching, you just like lost focus, and it's like totally the same thing. And I would say the only major difference is that it's not a team sport in any way. And like so in that way I guess it's much closer to tennis. But I think that like team sports are just better.
I mean, is doing like a whole performance, not like a recital where you're just singing, is doing a performance still very much like if you're in an opera? I mean,
I don't think opera. I think the only time I've ever felt like a team sport is in a choir. I had like my favorite group to perform with ever was my high school choir, which was 115 people. Big team. And we definitely
performing arts school, so I guess that makes sense.
We definitely like, it was all about like us feeling connected, and I think I love that.
Yeah.
No, I think about how similar it is all the time. It's funny because everyone always says like, oh, you do music and math, those are like the same thing, but they're not at all. At least not like at the collegiate level. But I do think that just the idea of performance and the like type of situation that you put like your brain and body in is exactly the same. And also just like when I was like taking care of my body like for the past week, before like my big performance, it was like exactly the same way that I would before a tournament.
Drink water, get lots of sleep.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. Like it's and that's the thing is like voice teachers will always say that it's like very, very athletic, like what you're doing, because it's literally like more than any other instrument, like literally coming out of your body and involves so much of like your breathing and just like your posture in every part of you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. Are we ready to wrap up? I feel like we hit most of the things that we wanted to hit.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point, but
Sure.
anything else you'd like to say? Our audience of tens.
Including those of us in the room.
No, I don't think so.
Cool.
It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah,
It's
it's been
really fun to
great.
talk about these things.
Thanks for having me.
Check out that Ultiworld article.
Yeah.
Maybe beyond the paywall, but if you'd like, just Venmo me. I say, hey, you did a good job. Some housekeeping things. Summer League registration is open.
It is.
Libby?
It's so
what's the deal?
We've got East and West leagues again this summer. We're at Hawken and at Brookside Reservation. West Side League at Brookside is on Wednesdays. East Side is on Thursdays. We're hoping to have a good year.
Yeah, Libby.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Sign up. Just sign up.
Yeah, do that. 1040 wrap up real quickly. 1040 happened this last weekend.
My team won.
Ooh, nice.
I didn't even know anyone was there, and that the extent of me wanting to talk about it was to say
The weather was pretty terrible. The fields were terrible. But my team won. Gush got a huge layout D to basically win us the tournament.
Gush is a champion.
Gush
Nice.
is he's a winner through and through.
He's on track to have a good year with the CBA.
Yeah. Gush, sign up for Winter League. He's probably listening. Are we using his intro again?
Oh, we I don't know. We'll see. We probably should.
Well, yeah, you listening at home will know
We'll
the
know,
answer.
yeah.
You'll know the outcome of this conversation. Other than that,
That's it.
we have at least one very, very exciting episode planned. I hope
Yes.
within the next week.
Yes.
Within the next week.
Well,
I
maybe,
hope like a
maybe
week from
next
now.
week. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll say before Sunday, the not
whatever.
Before the first... Oh, well, we should mention Smokestack tryouts are starting May 5th. We got 2 open tryouts, May 5th, May 12th. Invite tryout May 18th, and that will also be like Chimney's first separate practice. And then No Surf May 25th, 26th in Cleveland at the Polo Fields, which again, both Smokestack and Chimney will be sending teams. So anybody actively trying out can sign up and come to that tournament. So we've got a tryout form floating around, and we're working on nailing down the fields for those tryouts. We've been kind of getting the runaround a little bit, so hopefully that info will be out soon. But those are the dates. They're all. It's the first 2 were Sundays, and then the last one Saturday. They're all going to be in the morning. So if you're interested and you're not on the list or whatever, you can follow us on Twitter, _Lookoff, and I don't know, send us a message or just contact me somehow.
Texting.
Yeah.
Because you know
G-chat. G-chat is his preferred method of communication.
And looking at the Notorious information, if you're interested in signing up or trying out for Notorious, Saturday, May 11th at 9 a.m. and Tuesday, May 14th at 6:30 p.m. at Washington Park in Newburgh Heights. Disclaimer, these might not be super accurate, but this is their website. And so
I think they're up to date.
It's up to date? Yeah, they have a very official website. So
Nice.
check that out.
Way more official than us. We should have a website.
Follow them. And then the mixed team North Coast will be trying out, according to my info, at a time TBD at a location TBD. So,
I think Rooster mentioned that they were also looking at May 5th, but since we didn't prepare for this beforehand, I don't actually know when or where. But
they're looking at Brook Park, I think. But yeah, I don't know.
you find that in the place you find the information.
Yeah, all you college players, take all that club information into consideration, and Abby's great endorsement for playing club.
yes, if you want to be cool like Abby, play club.
Yeah.
Moral of the story. All right.
Yeah, and then I just can't stress enough how excited I am for the next episode.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Abby.
Yeah, thank you, Abby, for coming. Best of luck this weekend, this summer, this fall. Best of luck. And then, until next time, that's the episode.